Keir Starmer is yeeting the left and causing more civil wars than I can count at this point, but it's fun, and it's not our problem. It's his problem. So
again, this is like watching like a spider and a wasp have a battle to the death. It's like, I don't care about any of these.
I keep mentioning because it keeps reminding me of the Simpsons meme with the two monkeys with the knives on the boat, and I love throwing in the money. So let's have a look at this one first. So this is Labour votes to ban 4 far-left factions that supported Corbyn's leadership. Oh, no.
And it's just important to know that Corbyn's been chucked out of the Parliamentary Labour Party for being an anti-Semite.
He's a Labour member, but not a Labour MP.
No.
For that, yeah.
And they've been begging him to, can we let him back in? No.
So here's the National Executive Committee moved on Tuesday to prescribe Resist and Labour Against the Witch Hunt, which claims anti-Semitism allegations were politically motivated. Also, Labour...
Your anti-Semitism is politically motivated.
Yeah. So also, Labour in Exile Network...
That's not saying we're not anti-Semites. That's just saying you're politically against anti-Semitism.
So that's why we formed this group, and we shouldn't be banned. So Labour Exile Network, they were also banned, which expresses welcomes for suspended members to join them. So it's like, right. So you are literally an organisation within the party that is joining up with people who are banned from the party to fight the party. Yeah,
I mean, if I were Keir Starmer, I'd kick them out too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You got kicked on that one, but the other two not saying that the accusations against them are false. They also banned Socialist Appeal. Socialist Appeal, a group that describes itself as a Marxist voice for labour and youth, will also become a banned group.
Well, I like it when they just openly say, hey, we're a bunch of Marxists.
Yeah.
It's like, we know.
You're banned. Get lost. Anyone found to be a member of any of these groups could be automatically expelled from the Labour Party. So that's nice.
And if I were Keir Starmer, I'd go a bit further. Anyone friends with them on Facebook would be expelled too.
Even if you follow them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's one thing in which he banned a bunch of them because, of course he did.
Good for him.
We also started another civil war, which is funny because it's about the TERFs versus trans activists again.
Yeah.
Or the straight white men, as they have been called by Rosie Duffield. So Keir Starmer backs women-only spaces in specific circumstances.
What a radical.
I love it in specific circumstances. Can't do it blanketly.
Men shouldn't be allowed into women's spaces. Keir Starmer, radical socialist.
I know, but I know how he's trying to just sit on that, that fence post there again. Like, I'll do it, but I won't as well. Which is just, every time. So Labour will continue to back the Equality Act, which allows for the provision of women's-only spaces as issues around trans rights threaten to open a row within the party. So he's like, comrades, can we please stop fighting?
I love Rebecca Long-Bailey's confused expression. But do you remember when Keir Starmer was first elected and they were like, okay, so on this Black Lives Matter, defund the police stuff. And Keir Starmer, this was obviously like the first time he'd heard this or something. And the live reaction was just like, obviously that's nonsense. And it's like, no, Keir, this is the Labour Party. This is the left at the moment. They honestly think that, people with penises can be women. They honestly think that the police need to be gotten rid of. They honestly think that our countries are just entirely and irredeemably racist. That's what they think.
I mean, you were at the previous conference. The one that I watched all of and then just cut down to the good bits for our YouTube channel. Yeah, it really is that bad.
Yes.
Anyway, so continuing on this, the Labour leader's spokesman said he remained wedded to the policy on which the Labour Party thought the last general election, and that there was, quote, no reason to expect it is going to change. So he's claiming that the Equality Act is where they're going to stay because it allows women-only spaces, and that's the thing. And it's like, that's not where the party is.
No.
It's not where any of the people involved are. Anyway, so the law rightly assumes...
I mean, get him to define what a woman is.
Rightly assumes the inclusion of trans women, except in specific circumstances, a spokesman said. Normally thought to include prisons and refuges. But what is a trans woman then? I mean, again, it doesn't answer the question. It's just like, I'm just going to back the policy and walk away because why would I want to be involved in this? Anyway, but Ash Sarkar wants to be involved in this because, of course, she does. So Ash Sarkar tweeted out, Rosie Duffield is perfectly entitled to her view that trans people should have the protections they have had for years enshrined in the Equality Act. Thing is...
But no, she's perfectly entitled to the view that they should have these protections taken away from them. But the fact that she does so while a member of the supposedly progressive party is an embarrassment to Keir Starmer. Okay, thank you, literal communist.
But she's also just wrong. That's the point I was trying to get at. Like, it's not the case. I mean, there are two interpretations of the Equality Act here. One where it's yes and one where it's no. But also the idea that she's perfectly entitled to her view. That's interesting, isn't it?
But I like the way the communist is shaming Keir Starmer for being insufficiently progressive. So is communism like the end stage of progressivism?
But
Is
think
that
about
what she's saying?
2 weeks ago, she would never have said she's entitled to her view.
Well, that's true. But then Ash Sarkar's probably in danger of being kicked out of the Labour Party as well.
I think she's left, actually.
Ah, right. well, I'm leaving before you yeet me.
But I find that an interesting point because it's like, well, I actually think the TERFs might end up winning this. Because I feel like the trans activists are slowly losing their grip and being like, trying to hold on.
It does
and
feel
it's
that
not
way
happening.
because their position is just fundamentally incoherent.
So there's that, which I found of interest, and also all the TERFs retweeted Ash Sarkar calling her a moron, because she is, apparently, on her definition of...
I can't believe we've got to cheer for the TERFs.
Yeah, I know, what a world. Anyway, so let's go to the next one. So, of course, this is in regards to the straight white men who are bullying Rosie Duffield, as described by Rosie Duffield, as to what they are, because that's how Labour people speak.
Oh yeah, we're very progressive here. We call them she.
Yeah. We don't call them straight white men in this podcast. Shame. Anyway, let's move on from this. So we go to the next one, because there's more civil war going on, because there's always more civil war to be made, isn't there? John McDonnell has backed calls for Labour leadership election if Sir Keir Starmer presses ahead with his rule changes.
Right, so what are these rule changes?
So there's the rules in the Labour Party, which are a bit of a joke anyway, in which the way the leader is elected is by trade unions have a bunch of votes, because history. MPs have a bunch of votes, and Labour members have a bunch of votes. It all gets tallied up, and eventually you get a leader, right?
Yeah.
It's a long process like every other position. But this one, he wants to take away a bunch of the power from the members and move it towards the MPs, because the members are a bunch of fruitcakes.
That's true.
The MPs are also fruitcakes, mate, so I don't know how he's trying to solve there. But, deal
Not
with
my problem.
Yeah.
Glad I don't have to worry about this. But I find this really interesting. John, I'm a Marxist McDonnell. Why is he still in the party, Keir? I mean, he's the one who literally said he's a Marxist whose job is to overthrow capitalism. Is that what your position is? Is that what the Labour Party is for, Keir? Or was it just meant to be sort of like a working class interest lobby group, basically? Yeah. Are you here to overthrow private property ownership, Keir? And if you're not, why are you sharing space with John McDonnell? Who is?
It's obviously the Socialist Party for socialists to do socialist things. And yeah, they're the rightful owners, I think. Like, the Marxists are the rightful owners of this thing. I will agree with them on that. But that's why you're nuts, and you should never be in charge of anything, and why the Labour Party should just die, and then we can have some proper politics in this country.
It sucks that the right wing has subverted the Labour Party from the Marxists then, doesn't it?
But anyway, how's Keir Starmer going to fix all these civil wars that are going on?
Sir Keir Starmer.
Sorry.
It's important to note that, because that implies that he is directly embedded within and supportive of the oppressive hierarchies of the British state, which is awful from a Marxist perspective. That is the very worst thing. So the fact that they're talking and being yeeted by Sir Keir Starmer is an expression of British imperialism over the working class solidarity movement.
So the way he's going to fix it is blocks of text.
It's my 14,000 word essay that you got to read.
Yeah, Politics for All. Here we go. Politics for All has been passed a copy of Keir Starmer's 14,000 word essay. Highlights to follow.
I assume he's written this just to punish them.
Presumably. I don't know if you can scroll on this, just show, because Politics for All just took the highlights just to show. I'm not going to read any of it, because who cares?
God.
But look at it. Just look at it. These are just the highlights.
Can we see? Can we see? Just click on one so I can see the headlines. The segments that they're doing.
It's just forward.
No. Forward reflections. Okay, keep going.
It's really politician-y.
But if you go down a bit, there are some right. Okay.
Yeah, it's politician stock crap. Where it's just like,
right.
Yeah, the world bad.
Oh, God.
I fixed the world. Vote me. But anyway.
This looks really dull.
It's so dull that I didn't bother reading the full thing, because who would? You just look at it and be like,
Yeah.
right, I don't know what this is in the trash. Anyway, but I love the fact that he did this, and apparently he's been working on this for months. He worked on that for months.
Well, it's 14,000 words. Of course it's going to take months.
Why the hell did he waste his time on this? Who on earth is going to read it? So apparently the Fabian Society are the ones who got him to do this.
Oh, the communists, right.
Yeah, I mean, if people don't know, especially foreigners, the Fabian Society are literal useless idiots. Sorry, I forgot to bring the book, the Robert Conquest Reflections on a Ravaged Century, to show it. But I got this quote out of there just on the Fabian Society during the Soviet Union's era. And so there's a Fabian Bernard Shaw who returned from the USSR at the highlight of the Stalin famine and reported an overfed population, because these people are literally useful idiots. And there's also H.G. Wells, another Fabian, but was one who had been hostile to communism and regarded Stalin as a dictator. When Stalin gave him an audience in 1934, Wells was won over. His trust in his own powers of personal assessment enabled him to say that of Stalin that he had, quote, never met a man more candid, fair, and honest, attributing these qualities to his, quote, remarkable ascendancy over the country, since no one is afraid of him and everybody trusts him.
That is amazing, and this was something that happened a lot with the Soviet bloc and the Chinese and the North Koreans and whatnot. Is that they would bring over Western intellectuals, academics, and journalists and lie to them, present them with.
Of course they would.
I know, but for anyone who doesn't know, like they would give them like this very stage managed tour of show villages, show cities, the capital, all this, and then they'd go away going, oh wow, everyone's doing really great over there, everything's brilliant. Jeremy Corbyn and Bernie Sanders had this same treatment as well, and it was
Keir Hughes actually, but I'll leave that one there.
Right, okay.
She went to Cuba.
Yes, she went to Cuba, yeah. But Bernie Sanders particularly was massively impressed by their palaces of culture and how everyone was doing really well. It's like, Bernie, you're a moron. They're lying to you. They know you're useful idiots, and they know that you'll go back to the West and lie on their behalf, which is what they all did.
Yeah, so the Fabian Society being useful idiots. So if we can go to the...
Just to be clear as well, the Fabian Society, for anyone who doesn't know, when were they founded? It was the beginning of the 20th century, wasn't it?
I can't remember the date.
But it was like they were founded basically when it became apparent that revolution wasn't going to work, and so they were like, right, okay, well, we'll try and get socialism through democratic means, like the slow delaying process of Fabius the Delayer, the man who saved Rome from Hannibal, incidentally, who they're named after, because it became apparent they couldn't beat Hannibal in the field. So it was the same sort of attitude and maxims they're using. So basically, they're trying to bring about communism or socialism, whichever version they would like to say, and they're a society we should deeply avoid.
Yeah, but primarily because they are literal useful idiots. By their history, they came back from Stalinist Russia and said that everyone was fed, and also Stalin was a good man. Everyone loved him. He was not to be feared.
Oh, there was no one speaking out against him, Callum.
Anyway, but let's go to the full text that Keir Starmer did, so the one before this, if you can, John, just to show the absolute length of it. So if you could just scroll, just to show people.
Right.
Okay, but it's ridiculous. Like, no one's going to read it. Absolutely no one. And I love this meme from Poe. So if we go on this one, the first one here, Starmer writes essay to set out what he stands for. The Labour leader has wrote 11,500 words. It's not. It's even more than that.
13,200, I think.
Yeah. And if we go to the next one, I just love the meme.
Yeah.
Pray for me as I take this long and arduous journey to read this left-wing meme.
I mean, it literally is what it is.
Good God. 11,000 words.
But the thing is, you can imagine that like the folks at Navarra Media are like, what? We've got to read this. Yeah, you got to read this.
Yeah, you guys do.
Yeah, exactly. No, we don't, because
We don't care. I got it with costs. Because it's not like, I mean, you were mentioning, it's not like a left-wing academic, whereas like you're going to say something interesting and nuts that can be talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starmer and the Fabians or something. Who gives a crap.
It's going to be this tepid, like, nonsense.
Yeah. So we go to the next one as well, just because apparently some people don't know about this meme, Mark. So if we have this here, just left this memes be like, just boring text.
Now I have to be lectured at by a commie.
There was a left-wing response to this, which is to complain that he wanted people to do work. I'm not joking. So on the left, one of Keir Starmer's 10
We're socialists.
principles.
Of course we're not going to do work.
Yeah. So on the left, Keir Starmer's 10 principles from his 14 million word essay. On the right, a phrase 3 pages in of David Cameron's 2015 Conservative Party manifesto.
If you work hard and play by the rules, you should be rewarded fairly. Well, that's not very socialist.
That's Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
What did David Cameron have to say?
So you're rewarded for working hard and doing the right thing. Wow.
Yeah. And the socialist is like, how dare we work hard and get rewarded for this? This is ridiculous.
I mean, George Galloway's not wrong when it's 2 cheeks of the same arse, is he?
No, it's just
Literally.
Oh boy, God! Imagine complaining about having to do work. I should never have to work. I want socialism. Anyway, so we got.
I mean, the thing is, it's not like the socialist, like Lenin, who's like, who does not work will not eat. And it's like, yeah, well, that's not wrong.
Get up against the wall, like all the rest of you.
I love the stone toss meme of that. In each quadrant, reasonable, and then you've just got Vorse screeching about human rights.
Yeah. So we have the first one here from Politics for All as well, because Politics for All apparently has been getting hate mail from Keir Starmer and his team because he leaked it because it wasn't ready to be published, let's say, or at least there was a date set. And Politics for All got a hold of it and was just like, Lamau.
Don't worry, Keir. No one read it.
Yes. As if anyone's going to read that.
No one knows what's in it, mate.
Yes, Politics for All. Politics for All has been sent 3 angry messages from Keir Starmer's team for leaking his 14,000-word essay, including 1 threat.
But scroll down a bit on this. I love this. Anton, you were a Tory. Oh, no. Maybe they are. Who knows,
Yeah, but the fact that they sent him a threat, like, they didn't just send him, like, he says 3 angry messages. So, I mean, to be honest, imagine getting 1. Or just like, God, who cares? They send you another one from someone else, presumably. And then one is just a threat. It was like, if you do this again, kid, you're dead for leaking my blocks of text. that
no one's
reads.
reading. Yeah,
No one's ever going to read. Like, imagine giving a toss. Yeah. So if we go to the next one as well, apparently there is some other civil wars brewing within Labour, because there endlessly is,
Yep.
since his blocks of text
Yep.
reveal. So, Ash, again, Keir Starmer is considering lumping Labour with a less democratic leader selection process
no.
than the Conservative Party.
Oh, no.
And according to some sources, considering sacrificing the Green New Deal to get GMB on side.
Oh, no.
So that's a Labour union in the UK
Yeah.
that backed out. And I just find this funny. It's like he's going to sacrifice the Green New Deal to get votes. Oh, no. Like, how can he do that?
Why is the Green New Deal such an opposition point of opposition to popularity?
Because communism.
Yeah. But this is the thing. I love this. Like, I can't believe the Socialist Party is becoming less democratic. Oh, yeah, what a surprise. But I
Has
love
this
it.
happened before?
Yeah, does this sound like a leadership with his priorities right? Well, I mean, if you're interested in electoral success, yes. If you're not interested in that, like Ash Sarkar, no.
So we go to the next one. I talk about the fact that it's communism. I love this. Marjorie Taylor Greene took this meme to the House to represent. Let's see who it really is. And it's the Green New Deal.
And she's right.
Yeah, it's communism.
Yeah.
Which is why Boris signed up to it. Because of course he did. So let's go to the last one here, which is just to make the point. We made a video about this a while back.
Yeah.
So you can see Green Industrial Revolution. They got renamed in the UK, and Boris
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, we'll do that because I'm a conservative."
He's been really banging this drum as well. It's like, Boris, shut up.
He's currently in the UN banging this drum.
Yeah, I know.
For what reason? His wife.
And he's like shaming, everyone else is holding the world back. It's like, Boris, just go and be corrupt or something. Like, God.
I'd rather you did that.
Yeah, stop trying to fix things.
Anyway, that's that. Keir Starmer purging everyone around him. Good job. If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go over to lotuseaters.com to subscribe to get access to all the premium content we have.
The way the site works is that you have bronze, silver, and gold tier subscriptions. The bronze being £5 a month and allows you to get access to all of the premium content and leave comments on the articles. And we've got a new feature for the silver tier, and the silver and gold tier, which is having all of the premium articles accompanied by an audio track of a very smooth British voice reading, as you can see on the screen there. It's only an 11-minute listen, or it's however long it takes you to read the article. So that's for convenience. So that's for gold and silver members. And we've also got all of our regular great content, which we're all really proud of. I mean, the premium podcast we have here is Progressing to Destruction, where that's just a lot of work, where it went into examining exactly what the consequences of mass immigration have been in Britain. And this was a great deal of effort to put together, and we didn't really want it being taken down from YouTube or anywhere else, so we're hosting it on our site, and we're very pleased with, well, what is, I suppose, a bit of a negative response, but not because of anything we've done, but because of the facts of the matter, it seems. But we also do various other premium podcasts, like The Contemplations, such as Are There Human Rights? Well, it depends on whose definition of what a human right you are using is. And of course, we do our regular history podcast called Epochs. This week's was The Sea People, the Terror of the Bronze Age. I really enjoyed doing this one because there was a great collapse about 3,000 years ago of the entire economy of the Eastern Mediterranean, and it seems that a bunch of piratical raiders may have been partially responsible for that, and possibly inspired the Trojan cycle from Homer. So we discussed that in that. And of course, we do our book club. For some reason, I decided that we'd highlight the George Orwell ones that we've been doing. So we've got his Road to Wigan Pier, and of course, the classic 1984. And I'll probably do Shooting an Elephant next. Have you ever read that?
Not heard of it.
It's really interesting. It's about George Orwell's time as a colonial administrator and police officer in Burma. And at one point in his narrative, an elephant goes on the rampage in a village and is killing people and destroying houses. So he has to go down and shoot it. And it is an absolutely fascinating look at the sort of colonial dynamics. The reason I haven't done a book club this month so far is because I'm currently going through the Critical Race Theory Bible. As you can see, it's 500 pages long, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. And there are going to be many very in-depth book clubs coming out of that, because the things they believe are crazy and conservatives need to know about them.
Last thing to mention, of course, is if you'd like to see us live, you can come to our live events. So the one we have coming up, I think Saturday is sold out, but Friday still has tickets if you'd like to come. So we're going to have Andrew Lawrence down as the secret guest for that one, to be the comedian.
Not so secret now.
Not so secret now. And Count Dankula, Carl, and I'll be giving a secret speech about a topic I don't want to ruin now. Yeah. But that's that. But anyway, if you'd like access to all that premium content, please go over to lotuseaters.com, subscribe. Thank you.